welcome to your slow flow practice for today, for this week. So we'll be moving our perspective a little bit around the mat in this practice. I'll guide you through it, but hopefully just in a way to help you kind of shift out of any stagnancy or feelings of same. So I find that when we get stuck, I'm a big fan of routine, but when we get stuck in routine or stuck in the feeling of same, we feel stuck. And when we're moving energy through our body, because we're not stuck, the energy in our body is stuck. And what we're doing in our yoga practice is moving some of that energy by breathing and by moving, by stretching and physically recovering. Even that practice can start to feel a bit same too. So getting just a little bit creative, no big deal, but I just wanted to frame that so that you have enough space just around you, or if you could be facing either direction basically of your mat. But aside from that, get yourself into a comfortable position on your back if that works for you. If you're growing tiny humans, lying on your left side is better than lying on your right, or safer than lying on your right, if you're not comfortable laying on your back. So just make sure you are comfortable, whatever you're choosing. You can sit up if you need to as well, if laying down doesn't feel good for you. As usual with anything here that I share, make sure it serves you. If it doesn't feel right for you, you don't have to do that. It is anything I say or suggest is simply an option, and that's all it needs to be. So with that, find the position, let yourself settle in. I'm staying seated for this part, so you find the position that works for you, let yourself settle in. Maybe closing your eyes here or lowering your gaze. You might even take a deep breath in through the nose if that's accessible. A long exhale out of the mouth. Let's do that twice more, breathing in through the nose. Long exhale out of the mouth. Once more, just like that. And then just finding an easy breath without trying to change it, without trying to do anything. Just noticing any sensations of resting here, being here. Noticing the sensation of the weight of the body as it rests heavy. Notice the parts of the back of the body that are connected to the ground, the earth beneath you. Notice the parts of the back of the body that do feel connected. Noticing as if they are growing heavier and heavier. Like tree roots growing down into the earth. Hold you stable and nourish you. Heaviness isn't always the negative that we place on it. Noticing any areas in your body or your being that you might feel resistance or pressure or tension. At the same time, noticing any that might feel relief or relaxed, soft and open. And just noticing your natural breath here without trying to change it. Being aware of the natural depth of your breath, so where your body moves as you breathe in. The natural length of your breath, if one side of your breath is shorter or longer than the other. The natural pace of your breath, if it's quick and rushed and hurried, if it's running a race, or if it's slow and relaxed, cruising, or if it changes from breath to breath. Starting to invite your breath in to deepen down towards your abdomen, getting this gentle sense of filling up as gradually as you need it to be. And breathing in down towards the bottom of the lungs. So it's going in deeper, that gently pushes the belly forward out of the way as you breathe in. Not so much the chest, maybe a little, but it's more about the belly moving forward on the inhale. Sometimes we'll have reverse breathing, where we can just suck it in as we inhale, it's the other way around, filling up. Lengthening your breath out so that it matches the length of your breath in, finding this equal breath. This breath of balance, of coherence. Another good breaths like this. You go the control of your breath when you're ready, like a natural breath return. Maybe finding an intention for your practice here. What feels useful for you to carry with you throughout your time here on the mat. When you feel complete in that Start to invite gentle movement back into your body. You might draw circles through wrists and ankles a few times each direction. We'll stretch your arms up and over your head, point your feet. A big stretch from the front of the body aside, or yawn if you need it. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe stillness here, or a little rock side to side, or drawing circles a few times each direction, massaging the back into the ground. When you're ready, bring your feet down to the mat, keep your knees bent, take that right ankle, cross it over the top of the left thigh, flex the top foot back towards its knee. Your arms can be out to the side in a T shape or a cactus arms position. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, lower over towards the left. Just hold here, just a little bit of this stretch in your twist. You can choose whichever direction you want to turn to face your head. So breathing down towards your abdomen. Take one more breath here. As you inhale, lift your legs up. Keep that right leg on top. So still the same leg on top. As you exhale, lower your legs over towards the right. So it's a different kind of twist on this side, or a different kind of stretch on this side. Pausing, breathing here. One more breath here. Gently lift back up, release the foot back to the ground, take a breath or two in neutral. And then taking your left ankle, cross it over the top of the right thigh. Flex the top foot back towards its knee. As you exhale, lower over towards the right this time. Just stretching here. Taking another breath here, all the way in, all the way out. You're ready, lifting up through center. Keep that left leg on top as you exhale, lower over towards the left. So it's a different kind of stretch on this side. Pausing, breathing here. Getting that traction in that right hip joint. Another breath here. And gently lift up. Bring those feet back down to the mat. Take a breath or two in neutral. Rolling yourself over to one side. Help yourself up, finding hands and knees. Whichever way you're facing. So when you're ready, finding hands and knees. If your wrists are feeling sensitive, you might come onto your fists, curling the fingers into face towards each other. And from here, just finding these simple cat-cows as you breathe in, lower the belly, lengthen the spine. So you're not just jamming into the outer lower back, you're drawing the chest forward here. As you exhale, press into your hands, scoop through the belly, look back to your belly button. So inhale, shoulder blades draw up, draw in and down the spine. Exhale, shoulder blades separate. Releasing the neck as you do. So take a few more breaths like this. It's nourishing the discs of the spine, allowing a little bit of movement between the vertebrae. Finding those little pockets of tension. So notice my hips are staying stacked above my knees. The pelvis is just tilting and tucking. It's not leaning forward or back at this stage. You might walk your hands a little further forward so you're in this low plank position. And start to move with your feet tucked, so as you breathe in, scooping through the belly, coming forward, keep it stable so you're not dropping again. Exhale, pressing back. Doing that another couple of times. Keeping your shoulders stable here too. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, pressing back, finding downward facing dog. So opening the chest out towards the tops of the thighs, pedaling through the heels, bending one knee at a time, rocking the hips a little side to side. Keep pressing actively into your hands here. Looking back at your feet. Start to walk your feet towards your hands at the top of the mat. Finding your standing forward fold, Uttanasana. So soften the knees enough to let the belly rest over the tops of the thighs. Lengthen through the lower back. Also engaging the quads a little bit. The front of the thighs can help to create space through the lower back. Maybe relax your head and neck down a little. Gentle nod yes or shake no. If it doesn't feel good to have your head below or down that low, you can come into a halfway lift position. That's totally okay. Maybe just catching the opposite elbow with each hand, otherwise swaying gently side to side, ragdoll style. Decompressing through your spine. When you're ready, slide your hands up your shins, find a half lift. Uttanasana, that L shape through your body. So you're drawing the sit bones back, and the chest and the crown of the head are trying to draw forward. So the shoulder blades are towards each other. So that way you're nice and open through the chest rather than curled in. Take another breath in. As you exhale, fold. Do that part twice more, breathing in, halfway. Exhale, fold. Once more. Holding down. And on your next breath in, slowly stack the spine. Vertebra by vertebra as you come to stand. Shoulders roll up and back and down. Just getting this grounding through the soles of the feet, through your foundations, maybe spreading your toes, plugging them down. Feeling like your heels are trying to flick out to the sides, drawing the kneecaps up. Just gently, sense of presence in this spiral of energy moving up through your body. Take another breath here. Your next breath in, sweep your arms up, reaching tall. Exhale, folding your way all the way down to your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Lower your back knee here. You can keep your hands framing that front foot or hands on the inside. It's totally up to you. Depending on reach, if you need to place something underneath that back knee, you can do so, but make sure that front foot is grounded, so the heel is grounded. Breathe in, drawing forward, lengthening. As you exhale, peel that front foot back towards you, lengthen that front leg. Moving like that with your breath. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, peeling back. 3 more times like that. 2 more. 1 more. On your next breath in, come forward, let that right hand land in line with the big toe. It can be on the ground or you may want to block to give you a bit more space. That can be really nice. As you breathe in, left hand comes to the thigh, just there. Breathe in, lengthen the spine, exhale. Find your twist here through the ribcage part of the spine. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. You're in charge of how deep this twist goes, so if you need a bit more gentleness, do so. 1 more breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands down on the inside of that front foot. You might like to bring your block with you. As you lift up off that back knee, bend that back knee, the right knee, coming into Skandasana, your ninja lunge at the back of the mat. So the kneecap and foot are still facing up. You're sitting on that heel, but if that's too much for your sole of the foot, you can use the block as a support there or underneath your hips. You can sit up on it as well, depending on the kind of block or the support that you need. So bring your right hand down, and as you breathe in, extend your left arm up. Taking a few breaths here. Taking another breath in. As you exhale, bring that top hand down. You're spinning to face the back of the mat, which is now going to be referred to as the front. Coming into a lunge position. Lower that back knee. Pressing into that front foot. Breathe in, sweeping up. This time as you exhale, catch your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. Engaging the glutes here, breathing the shoulder blades in and down the spine, lifting up through the ribs and sternum. Looking forward, feeling like that front heel is trying to draw back towards you. Taking another breath in. As you exhale, release, hands frame that front foot. Step back to your plank. Finding this low plank position, take a breath in. As you exhale, bend your elbows, lower slowly down to the belly. Rock the hips a little side to side, creating space for your lower back. Flatten the tops of the feet. Coming into Sphinx pose. So you're engaging thighs, backside muscles, and lower belly. As you bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, forearms parallel. Breathing in, lengthening the spine, shoulder blades in and down the spine. So if you're really caught up like this, broaden those collarbones, looking forward, squeezing the backside muscles. As you exhale, hollow belly, just pressing into your forearms, keeping your knees grounded and lifting the hips, or at least scooping through the belly. So a little bit looking back to your belly button. The reason we're doing this is breathe in, lower down, Sphinx, engaging the back body. Hollow belly. Once more like that. Breathe in and out. So let's find Sphinx. Exhale, lower, hands ground, tuck your feet. Use that hollow belly feeling. So instead of rolling up to lift out of plank into your lower back, which we don't want, you can use that hollow belly feeling so that you can keep as much of a line through from your hips to your shoulders as best as possible. Sometimes it takes a bit of practice and core building. So breathe in, lift up. You can rest in child's pose or press back when you're ready. Downward facing dog. Keep your knees as bent as they need to be. This is more about the spine lengthening. So focus on that. On your next breath in, extend right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knees, scoot through the belly, help that foot through to the top of the mat, whether you need to step it through or sweep it through, lower the back knee. Framing that front foot or on the inside, as long as you're still tracking forward, it's totally up to you. Depending on your proportions, your needs, your reach. Breathe in, draw forward. Exhale, pull that front foot back towards you, lengthen that front leg. The same thing, second side. So breathe in, coming forward. Exhale, peel back. Again, 3 more breaths like that. Last one. This time as you come forward, breathing in, position that left hand, maybe use the block, right hand on the thigh, inhale, get length through the spine, exhale, find your twist. Shoulders away from the ears. You can choose whichever direction you want to look at, or turn your head to face. You might even close your eyes, or just lower them, or rest them. Taking one more breath in here. As you exhale, releasing, bring your hands on the inside of that front foot. You might want to bring your block with you as you lift your back knee and bend that left knee, coming back to the original front of the mat into Skandasana, your ninja lunge. So it's your right leg, it's extended out, left knee is bent, using the block as support underneath the heel or underneath the hips as needed. Left hand can come down. Maybe the right arm extends. A few breaths here, getting this nice openness. One more breath in. As you exhale, hand comes down, we're spinning around back to the original front, lowering that back knee, positioning that front foot, so we're in that lunge again, press into that front foot, breathe in, sweep up. Exhale, release your hands, maybe changing the cross of the interlace just for balance. Engaging the back side muscles, breathe in, hands draw down, lifting up. Shoulder blades in and down the spine as you do this one. Seeing this nice opening. So we're not trying to go for depth here. The lunge is just part of it. It's not all of it. It's really about creating space and length in the torso, the spine, the shoulders, the chest. Taking one more breath in. As you exhale, gently release. Hands come down, lift up off that back knee. And stepping yourself forward to the top of the mat. Breathing in, find your halfway. Exhale, fold. Coming to stand. Inhaling, take as much time as you need. Arms reach out wide enough. Palms connect. Coming down to your heart. Pausing here for a few breaths. Catch your breath if you need to. Just gently aim to slow it down. On this second round, we add a little bit more flow to it. So take your time with it. But we've primed, warmed up, just to sort of take it to this next step if you feel to. When you're ready, release your arms down. Breathing in, reaching tall. Exhale, knees soft. Hips back, chest forward, folding all the way down. Uttanasana. Inhale, find your halfway lift, Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to mat, step your left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Keep that back knee lifted for a moment. Bend it slightly so you can press into that front foot. Breathe in, rolling up. Crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, lifting up. And as you exhale, lengthen that front leg back. Heel can be heavy. Hands come down, or maybe you have a block either side, or even a chair in front of you. Lengthen the front leg coming into your modified pyramid. So notice that my leg isn't completely straight here, nor does yours need to be, especially if you're hyperflexible or hypermobile rather. It's not even flexibility, it's mobility, which is the kind that we don't want, the hypermobility. Just allowing this pause here. Take another breath. This is where we move a little bit more as you breathe in, bend that front knee, let your left hand rest, sweep that right arm forward and open into your twist. So pausing here for a breath or two, we're moving in a moving meditation between here and Skandasana a few times. I'll take you through it. Take your time as you need, or if you prefer to rest, rest. Take another breath in. As you exhale, that top hand comes on the inside of that front foot. Bend that back knee, coming to Skandasana at the back of the mat. And then we move again. Breathing in, shift the feet, coming back into your twist. Call this a bit of a surface flow. Exhale, coming back. Reminds me of how surfers move on their boards on the water. Inhale, come forward, twist. Exhale, come back, Skandasana. Holding here, supporting with any block or anything that you might want to need. Extending that right arm open. Take another breath in. As you exhale, coming down, facing the back of the mat, sitting on your feet. So you can come into your lunge. But this time, that left foot's going to be in the middle of the front, in the middle of the mat. Lower the back heel, cut the back foot in on an angle. You can bend that front knee, lifting up, warrior two. So that back foot, knee and hip are facing diagonal, front knee's tracking forward. And in this instance, your hips, as they are, but also your torso are facing the diagonal as well. Hands come behind, engaging the glutes, breathe in, hands draw down. You can just stay here, you're drawing energy up that back leg. Or if you want to, without sitting the hips too far back, exhale, curling in towards that inside of the front knee, arms might reach up. Inhale, engage glutes to help you support. Breathe in, lifting open. Exhale, curl. One more. Curling. Breathe in. Unleash the hands with that back heel, lifting up. And framing that front foot. Stepping back to your plank. You can rest or move through. So if you're exhaling, elbows slightly tucked lower down, use that hollow belly feeling. You can come into Sphinx again or Cobra, so either way. Thighs, backside muscles, lower belly engaged. Cobra is about a handprint in front of the, or not even full, half handprint in front of the shoulders. Breathing and rolling the shoulders up and back and down as you roll it up. Elbows stay bent here. So remember, we're not jamming into the arch of the lower back. Every back bend is a strengthening of the back of the body. It's reliant more on strength than it is on flexibility. Taking another breath in. Exhale, lower. When you're ready, use that hollow belly feeling again, lifting up to your knees. Maybe resting here in child's pose for a few breaths. Then pressing back, downward facing dog. Finding that position. A few breaths here. Your next breath in, extend that left leg, three-legged dog, press back through the heel. Exhale, bend the knees, scoot through the belly, help that foot through to the top of the mat, however you need to get it there. Keep that back knee lifted for a moment, but bend it slightly so you can roll up through the spine. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, deepening. Finding your lunge, your present lunge, Anjaneyasana. Take another breath in. As you exhale, lengthen that front leg. So you're taking length through your torso. As you bring your hands down, back heel is heavy, modified pyramid. So you're not in a lunge, you're lengthening the front leg. For some of you, it may not look very different, depending on the level of tightness that you might be feeling today. That's okay, as long as it's the intention of lengthening rather than lunging. Create as much space or support as you need, especially underneath your hands. Especially if you're really curling, lifting up. We don't want to curl and contract our upper body as we aim to create space. Taking another breath here. Inhale, bend that front knee, come back into your lunge, maybe placing that block underneath your right hand, left arm sweeps forward and open into your twist. Keep pressing actively down to that hand, so you're not sinking into the shoulder. That back heel is pressing actively back. If you need to take it a bit gentler, do so. This is where we move in that surfer's flow. So one more breath in. So you exhale, top hand comes down inside that front foot, back knee bends, so right knee bends, left leg extends, Skandasana. Then we move again, shifting the feet again, breathing in, twisted lunge. Exhale. Skandasana. Allow your feet to move so you're not twisting through the ankle. Again, like that. Breathe in. And out. Coming back to your Skandasana, using any support as you need. Right hand stays grounded, maybe that left arm extends. Catch your breath. One more breath in. As you exhale, come back to the original front, spinning on your feet so you're in your lunge, but keeping that right foot in the middle of the mat so you can lower that back heel, have that back foot in on an angle, bend the front knee, lifting up warrior two footing. So front knee's tracking forward, back foot, knee and hip are facing that diagonal. Interlace your fingers, maybe the opposite interlace, bring in, hands are down, and drawing energy up that back leg in particular, engaging the glutes. You might stay here and be upright if that's better for you, do so. Or exhale, playing with leaning forward, breathing in, lifting up. Exhale, fold. Once more. Beautiful. As you release your hands, lift that back heel, breathe in, sweeping up. And out, hands come down, stepping forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Coming to stand. Take your time, breathing in. That's the hardest of it. Exhale, come down to your heart and bring it back down now towards our relaxation. Another breath here. Move again, breathe in, reach tall. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway. And out, hands to the mat, sit straight back to your down facing dog. So you can walk your feet back. Taking another breath in here. As you exhale, lower your knees. Coming to lie down on your back. Grab your block if you've got one. If you don't, or you prefer not to use a block for your supported bridge, you can use a bolster, or a few pillows, or alternatively, you can stay on your back. Keep your hips grounded and let the knees rest against each other, feet slightly wide. That can be nice if you don't feel like being in supported bridge for whatever reason. So when you're ready, rolling down, coming onto your back, knees bent, feet on the mat, the block is widthways on the lowest level. Lift your hips and place it right underneath your sacrum. So it is not in the arch of your lower back. It's underneath your pelvis, supporting you here. Keep your knees bent. So that way it's mostly therapeutic for your lower back here, letting your natural, well, letting that lumbar spine decompress. And don't try to force or control your breath too much here. It might be a little naturally quieter or shallower, but as long as it's not quick and rushed, just let it be relaxed. Notice if your teeth are clenched, anything like that. Take another breath or two. Lift your hips so you can move the prop out from underneath you. Lower your hips down, keep your knees bent, feet on the mat. A few breaths, letting the natural curves of the spine return. Your knees bent, arms out to the side. Shuffle your hips a little over to the right. Lift your legs and lower your knees over to the left, finding a twist here. That little hip shuffle just keeps aligned through the sacrum, the sacroiliac joints. Ready. Legs lift up through center, plant your feet, so you can shuffle your hips a little over to the left. Lift your legs and lower your knees over towards the right. You twist on
the second side. Another breath here. Lifting up, hips back to the middle. Finding Shavasana, your final relaxation. You can extend your legs out. Try to resist the urge to cross your ankles. Let them stay separated. You can place something underneath the crease of the knees for support. Finding a comfortable position that works for you. We'll sit up to take you through your relaxation. So just allow yourself to find that position. You can rest into that works for you. Releasing your jaw, maybe closing your eyes or even placing something over them if that feels comfortable for you to do. Letting everything rest, let your breath be easy. Let it be easy. And staying exactly as you are for the moment. Just bring your awareness home to your breath, whether you deepen that breath or lengthen it or trace it in and out.
Maybe finding a new or revised intention, one that you can take with you off the mat into the rest of your day, the day ahead. When you feel complete in that, starting to invite that breath into your body again, invite gentle movement back into your body. Wiggling toes and fingers, or rocking your head gently side to side if that feels good for your neck. Stretching your arms up and over your head, point your feet. Feet stretch at the front of the body, a sigh or yawn if you need it. And bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a big hug. Knees can be together or wide. Maybe stillness here, or rock side to side, or direct circles a few times in each direction, massaging the back into the ground. And you feel complete in that, rolling over to one side, help yourself up, finding a comfortable seat. Your eyes close or lower, your hands and arms just relax wherever is most comfortable. Maybe even together at your heart. It's up to you, there's no wrong way to do this. Take another breath or two here. Pausing for a moment in gratitude for yourself for taking the time out of your day to move and connect with your breath and shift that energy. Gratitude for the space that you've created for yourself, that someone has helped you create for you or enabled for you to have. Gratitude for your practice of yoga. You now take with you often. Thank you so much for joining me. Definitely take care, and please let me know how you go with this or how you enjoyed it. And if there's anything I can help you with from there as well. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.